What's up, guys?
Hi, guys.
My name is Carlos.
My name is Sam.
And hey, this is Real Talk. So Real Talk might look a little bit different right now.
Correct.
I'm not John.
I am not Tim Summers.
And so we're the Orlando Youth Director, so we're happy to be right here in Orlando. And so we grabbed some of our youth and want to have a real conversation.
Yep, of course we're at a coffee shop because where else would we be?
Exactly, that's Orlando, baby. So come with us and let's just have a real talk.
Let's do it.
Tonight, I think we're going to talk about the topic of influence. All right, so let's say it was our job right now, the four of us, come together and say we're going to define what an influencer is. So what is an influencer?
I think an influencer is anyone who has a group of people that look up to them, and that number doesn't matter. I feel like whether it's 1 or 1 million, as long as someone is looking up to them, watching what they do, what they say, and being influenced by that, I think that's what an influencer is, and I think everyone has the power to be an influencer.
You're always gonna have people who look up to you, and it's just the fact that just that you have someone who looks up to you and then they imitate you in certain steps, and then they're like unique in their steps, but they're still imitating you slowly, and it just makes like a trend, that goes on and on, So to me, it's just something that people are looking up to you. That's influence more than enough,
Yeah. That's really cool.
That's great. Well, now that we've defined an influencer, who is your favorite influencer right now that might have the most influence on you personally?
Personally, I would go with this guy called Andrew Carter. I think with this whole situation of COVID, many people have been through a lot, and not being able to go to a physical church or receive physical word, it's hard. And, being home all day, you can go through many different moods, and sometimes you need that words of encouragement. So I found him on TikTok and Instagram, and people were always reposting him, talking about he does 15-second prayers. And when I was going through a certain situation, depression or whatever it was, I would randomly see his video of praying about depression or reading about the Bible, about talking about things like that, and I think that definitely helps. And to me, he's someone who has a great impact in my life.
I think my favorite influencer is Riley Hubaka. And that's mostly just because I get so self-conscious when I'm posting on social media, and I think that I always feel like I have to be perfect, and I take what people say very personally. And I feel like she is such a great example of being a Christian, but being yourself and not trying to be perfect, and just understanding that we're all human. And I really just like that genuineness that comes from her. She's not trying to be anyone else. She's just herself, and I really look up to that.
That's really cool. I think what's interesting is something that both of y'all said was you use the example of social media. So would you guys think influence just comes with social media? Someone has to be on social media to be an influencer. Is that a true statement or a false statement?
Now that I'm in school, I've been able to talk about God to many of my friends. And due to COVID, there's not many people in school, but the little that I got, I can yet get to them, with the Word of God. And even then, social media is also a great tool, to get to many people who are at home, to encourage many people. And if used correctly, it could be a great impact on anyone's life.
I think that's perfect.
Yeah.
To say it's a tool. It's it's not completely necessary. It's not the only way. It's a tool we can use to continue to influence others. I think that's huge. I think that's mind-blowing. I think that's wise, All right, so talk a little bit about different tools we can use, stuff like that. So let's say in our situation right now, you had more followers, you had more money, you had more time on your hands. What would you do different now as an influencer if you had all that as well?
I think I would obviously get the gospel out there of all things, because as a believer, I don't want, when God comes, I don't want many people to go to hell, especially my own friends to be lost. And especially when you have so many people looking up to you, that same people, like she said, they're gonna try to imitate you, and they're gonna repost and use the tool of Instagram, whatever it is, and just get God out there as much as we can, and to be ourselves, to be unique. God says, He singled us out, We're all made to be different. We're all made with a purpose. So to be an influencer with followers and stuff should be an opportunity to get God out there as much as we can. So I think that's my part, my opinion on that.
I think with that question, what if you didn't have any of that? Didn't have any money, you had less time on your hands, you didn't have a huge following, now what can you do?
I think a situation just came into my mind. Yesterday we were walking home, we had just gotten dinner, and we were walking home, we had leftovers in our hands, and there was a homeless man sitting in a wheelchair. And when you walk past homeless people, typically you would expect them to ask for something or hold up a sign. And this man was just sitting there, and we walked past him and kind of smiled at him, and he said, "Have a blessed day." And we took a few steps, and we stopped, and we were so taken aback and moved because this man had nothing to give to us, nothing to ask from us, but he told us to have a blessed day, and that is what moved us. So we turned around, we gave him our leftovers, we had a small conversation. So I think if I had absolutely nothing, I have God. And when you have God, you have everything. And so I think that as long as you have God in your heart and good intentions, you can make those impacts. And I think that to me would be worth more than any amount of following.
Yeah, I mean, what's the purpose of an influencer really, Someone who helps you do things, maybe helps you kind of branch out, or whatever it may be. Yeah. But now this homeless guy in your story, low-key influenced you to be a blessing.
Yeah, most definitely.
He had none of what we talked about, but he influenced you to even continue to bless others.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's crazy to think that. I feel like we often think we have to have that full closet, we have to have that mansion, we have to have those 3 million followers on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, we have to have those subscribers to be an influence on people. But you guys are influencing people no matter, even in the situation where you're walking down the street, you're influencing people in all aspects of your life. And what are you going to do with that?
Exactly.
That's big.
That's huge. Let's talk about, there's stories in the Bible, like we said before.
There are stories.
There are.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
But Jesus as an influencer, in this specific story in Matthew, there's a crowd around him, and his disciples were like, hey, let's send them away.
Yeah.
It's late, people are tired, let's just send them away. So what is something right now, year 2020, that you would say you would want to just send away?
Yeah.
What would that thing be?
I would take away just the hatred, divide, and racism that's happening in our world right now. It's been prevalent in our world forever, but it's very much being highlighted here in 2020.
Yeah.
And if I could just erase all of that and just have everyone love each other the way Jesus loves everyone, that would be it.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Now let's take this story, for example.
Yeah.
All right? This is weird. But in Matthew, the disciples were like, hey, send them away.
Yeah.
And Jesus was like, actually, no, leave them here. And then Jesus performed a huge miracle.
Yeah.
So if he would have sent them all away, they wouldn't have seen
the miracle.
A huge miracle that was taking place. So what if those two things that I agree, I want change, I want sent away. Yeah. What if those two scenarios that y'all just gave were not being sent away in 2020? How does that either stop your influence, or does that make you want to use your influence even more, and how?
Yeah, or how even can you be like Jesus and turning that for a miracle for people, turning that to be a good thing.
Yeah, I think the thing is, if we didn't have these struggles in our world, we wouldn't be growing as humans. And our goal here is to grow and to be Christ-like, and we aren't perfect, but we need to strive to become that. And without those trials and tribulations, there's no way for that growth. So I think this is a way for people to stand up, to speak what's on their mind, to stand up for others, to use the word to back what they believe in. And I think that what's going on right now is developing a whole new sphere of influence that if we tap into, miracles will happen, just like the story in the Bible.
That's awesome. Yeah, for sure. Because one other situation we have now where I can stand up for my friend who might not have the same privileges as me, or who might experience things that I don't experience. Now I can stand up for them and fight for their justice. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, like what I said, I'm in school, and not many people are having the ability to show up because, you know, the scare that, you know, COVID and everything. And I feel like when I went through my depression, God transformed me and I was able to walk out of it. But to see that many people are still, many of my own friends are being attacked by depression, I'm like, okay, like I call them and I check up on them and they're like, hey, like it's been a while since someone talked to me. It's been a while since someone checked on me. And I want to thank you for that. Yeah. And it's like, I wish someone would have done that with me. But God said, okay, let's not let that happen with your own friends, you know. And I do that. I check up on them, like, hey, how are you? And they all like, they open up to me with like whatever situation they're going through. Yeah. And it could be anything. And they're like, man, like thank you, because it's been months since I like talked to someone, like a friend outside this house, you know. And I've been going through so much, but thanks to your call, you know, I'm slowly getting out of this situation, you know.
Crazy is like we look at terrible situations like this, and it's like, oh, I wish God could just take them away. Like I wish we just didn't have bad things, or I wish people didn't struggle. But like we wouldn't need Jesus.
Exactly.
We wouldn't have things that we would have to struggle through. And I think that's what both of you are saying. Like both of those things, I agree with what you're saying. Like I wish we could just not have to deal with them either. But the perspective needs to shift to this situation is the worst to how can we use this situation to glorify God and to love other people.
Awesome.
Yeah. That's big. I think ultimately, I mean, even this conversation, even this real talk right now, we're noticing how we can truly be influencers.
Yeah.
I think even for y'all, even for you, I don't think, you know, you guys might have not noticed before how you are influencing others. Yeah. But it's in conversations like this where we influence each other. While, I mean, your story, for example, that influenced me to act a certain way or to say a certain thing. Yeah. I think, you know, right here in this round table of real talk,
oh my gosh.
I think that it just proves we have influence.
Yeah.
Definitely have influence. Yeah. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. It doesn't matter if you're black or white. It doesn't matter if you're broke. It doesn't matter if you're whatever. You have voice. You have influence.
Always.
So what will you do with that? How will your influence change the world? Your meal given to that guy changed a piece of his world. So if we can change small pieces, if we all change the small pieces, all those small pieces together, there's a lot of the world that we're changing.
Per meal combined with Christian's phone calls to his friends, already.
That's a big. Those are pieces of the world that are being impacted. And so we're here like, oh, you know, I want to change the world, but the world is so big. You're starting with however you're using your influence right now. That's true. And so I think it's bold that what you guys are doing right now, how we're having this conversation, is like, man, we have influence. We can do something. We can actually change something. So I don't know. I think it's big. I think it's huge.
Proud of you guys.
We believe in the youth. We hope you enjoyed that video. Honestly, we create content like this just for you, and whether you're engaging with your friends and your family, or whether it's just with the comments below, we would love for you to continue to do that. Make sure you subscribe, click that bell for notifications, and we hope to see you at the next video. Love you.